You've spent years dedicating your life to education and the youth. But for some reason, when it comes to Gen Z and Gen Alpha, it's really starting to wear you out. Today, I'm going to be teaching you the Milli Method, a new way to teach Gen Z and Gen Alpha. I have a decade of experience working with this population of students. They don't need us to coddle them. They need us to be clear and honest. Welcome into a Milli Method. My name is Keith. I'm a college counselor who's been working with the youth for quite some time. Like you, I have both my bachelor's and my master's in education, and I have given myself to the cause of empowering our youth and educating our future. But I ain't gonna lie to ya, it's been really hard as of late. When you began your teaching and counseling journey, I'm sure that you leaned into the textbooks, into your mentors to try to understand the best way to work with this youth. But with the development of technology, the advancement of social media, and also the shift of priorities of our entire society, this has heavily impacted our youth. So maybe you, like me, began questioning if you're just not as effective as you once were. Maybe you don't got the juice or the secret sauce like you once had. And who knows, maybe two things can be true. But I know one thing is a fact, and it's that this generation is completely different from all of the generations prior. Both Gen Z and Alpha have grown up in a society where technology is always in their hands. Information is constantly fed to them. They have grown up comparing themselves to others. They have dreams that are presented to them that are eons away from their reality. All of these things are beautiful, but I know you've asked yourself this question. What can I do as an educator to help my students? That is where the millennial method to teaching and counseling, or the Milli Method for short, comes in. This method that I'm developing has three core principles. Be direct, be impactful, but more importantly, be real. But Keith, these are young children who need to be comforted and guided through society with a gentle hand. That is the thought process of the past. We as a society need to understand that we cannot continue to coddle these young people. The internet has exposed them to the world. It has exposed them to society, to climate change, to wars. It has exposed them to everything. What are you hiding from them? And if you're a parent listening to this, these children engage with sex or sex-adjacent content every single day. There is nothing to protect them from. The Milli Method is here to teach you how to start inserting accountability, honesty, understanding in the tools that they have. We need to stop acting like it does not exist. It is here to stay. These students today grow up in a world of overstimulation, anxiety, and constant comparison to everybody. They are not fragile, they are overwhelmed. If you're an educator, counselor, teacher, parent who is struggling to get through to the student or child before you, the Milli Method is for you. It doesn't matter what generation you are or where you are from, there is one language that these young people speak, and it's the truth. It's honesty. Where we as an older generation struggle to try to find what is real and what is not real online, these students can catch it in an instant. They understand authenticity. They understand honesty because they are around so much lies and fluff every single day that they are masters at distinguishing the truth. I utilized my technique just the other day. My organization threw a social event for the students. While the bulk of the students are having fun and are engaged in the program, I make it my mission to walk around and go speak to the students that are not being as social. And I find this young man sitting down. We're going to call him Charlie. I pull up a seat right next to Charlie and I'm like, hey man, what's going on with you? Why aren't you outside socializing? The music's pretty loud, so he leans into me and he tells me, oh, parties are not really my thing. I'm not really feeling it. I responded with, what is it about parties that is not your thing? He then says to me, I don't know. I just don't like being judged. So I sit back, give him a smile, and then I lean in and say, but you're being judged by sitting down right now. When I tell him that, he pauses and he opens his eyes really wide. And then I lean back in and I say, Charlie, people are going to judge you whether you dance or whether you sit. Now, if you want to sit, that's cool. But if you want to dance, go dance because you're going to be judged anyway. He didn't even say anything after that. He just smiled. I then gave him a nice little head nod, took out my hand, shook his hand, and went to go speak with the next student. Fast forward through the event, I'm sitting talking to another student doing the same spiel, and Charlie comes up to me sweaty. Hey, Keith, can I talk to you real quick? So I get up and I listen to him, and he says, I wanted you to know that you changed my life. I'm going to be judged either way, but I'd rather have fun. That story brings me tons of joy, and it reinforces that it works. But let's do a quick breakdown. Principle 1 of the method, be direct. I sat down to address the behavior of him being antisocial. Pillar 2, be impactful. I had no problem with him being antisocial, but I needed him to understand the reason why he was being antisocial. If he wanted to sit for the reason of wanting to sit, then fine. But if you're sitting and not enjoying yourself because you are intimidated by what others think about you, that's where we have a problem. And point 3, be real. I kept it real. I said, hey man, people gonna judge you anyway, whether you sitting or where you standing. And it's easier to judge you if you're sitting down. A core element that I need you all to walk away with the Milli Method is, it is uncomfortable. The language in which you speak to the student has to be more geared as if you are speaking to an adult. These students may be young in age, but as far as their exposure to life, it is, if not at the same level of yours, higher, because social media is part of their personality. It is part of their upbringing. It is part of their story. Remember, when it comes to Gen Z, they are not scared to ask why. And if you are a professional that wants to build trust with your students, be authentic and be real, because if you tell the truth, then when they ask you why, you can give them a solid answer. I have been instinctively following this methodology ever since I began my career. And it has led me to be one of the most sought out and trusted counselors on the campus, winning awards, accolades, and receiving endless love and support from all of my students. I know that for you as a counselor or teacher, the pressure of this educational field is weighing you down. That is why I want you to be free and trust your heart and your instincts that want to support this student by being honest. If you keep it a milli with them, they will begin to understand it when the time is right. The Milli Method flips the script on counseling entirely, and it leans more on you as an individual to lean into your life experiences to guide these young people. That's not to say that you should be throwing away all of the tactics that you have learned in your education to become a counselor, but you need to understand the core of the student is the same, but the packaging is much harder and tougher. And the Milli Method teaches you how to break through that tough exterior. This is just one of the many lessons that you're gonna learn from a Milli Method, and I hope that you gain some value today. Please follow me if you want some more, and I would love to hear y'all feedback. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Peace.